Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Aletha here with Ribbons and Zippers, and today we are going to talk about a really gorgeous silhouette, and that is the Empire waist dress, or the Empire, some people call it, but Empire, Empire is all the same. Stick with me and I'm going to show you just how to do it. Okay, so the very first thing I want you to do is to grab your basic blocks. So I'm going to grab my basic blocks, and that is my front and my back bodice blocks and my skirt blocks, front and back. If you don't have one, go ahead and check out my videos on how to draft them and then meet me back here. So first I'm going to grab my supplies and tools such as my plain see-through paper or dotted pattern paper if you prefer. I will also need some pencils with erasers and a compass like this one to create my bust radius. If you don't have one, no worries, I'll show you how to do it. I'm going to need my rulers such as a pattern making ruler, a see-through ruler, and a tape measure, and of course some tape. Okay, so let's get started. As you can see, I've already done some preliminary work. You can see that I've already traced off my front bodice piece and my front skirt piece on two separate pieces of see-through pattern paper. And then I've matched them at the center front and the waistline. That's one good thing about using see-through paper. You can see your lines that you've created. So I have two pieces of pattern paper taped together, and I've overlapped them with about a 3 to 4 inch overlap. This is a technique that I like to use when creating this type of block. I'm going to show you just why in a few minutes. Just make sure that your center front is perfectly straight from your neck down to your hem. So for this block, I need to close all of my darts and leave my side bust dart open for now. So that you can see my lines, I'm going to trace around my front bodice with a black marker. Now you need to determine your bust radius. You can do that by measuring from your apex down under your bust and then take that measurement. I've shown you how to do this in previous videos like this one, so if you want to, go ahead and check it out. But here are some measurements to keep in mind. I'm going to use my compass, but there are several ways to do this. One way is to use a ruler or a tape measure and just mark your inches from the bust point. For me, it would be 3.5 inches. Next, I need to square over from the center front to the side seam. And I'm going to square two lines. The first is at the center of the bust radius. Then I'm going to move down to right under the bust radius, again from the center front to the side seam, and square. Next, measure down from the under bust line that you just drew and measure 3/4 of an inch on the side seam and make a mark. Now from that mark, use a curved ruler to draw a line that touches the under bust line. Okay, so here's my curved line. And again, from my underbust line, I measured down 3/4 of an inch on the side seam. I made a mark and I curved the line back up to my underbust, making sure to touch that line. Next, locate your waist at the bottom of your bodice block, your front bodice block. Then square over from the center front through the side seam. This is my original waistline. Now I need to measure from my empire waist down to my original waistline and write down that measurement. I get 3.5 inches. Yours may be different. It's important to make a note of this measurement because you're going to need it for when you draft your back skirt block. Now we can go ahead and separate our new bodice or our empire bodice from our skirt. So now we have our empire waist skirt. This area here is called the midriff, and this is the bodice. I'm going to put my skirt to the side and work on my front bodice. First, I'm going to close my side dart by cutting straight up from the center of my bust radius to the bust point. And then again from my side dart. So when I close my side dart, now I get a dart at the empire waist, which is exactly what I need. Now I need to add some extra paper to the bottom of my block. Next, I'm going to extend my dart legs by 1/4 of an inch on each leg. Then I'm going to measure down 1/8 of an inch on my center front and make sure to square in about 1/2 an inch so that my lines are not wonky. I don't want that. Now I want to create a nice curved line at the bottom of my block and then blend to nothing at the side seam. Okay, now my front bodice is almost done, but if I want to use this block to create a beautiful silhouette such as a sweetheart neckline, a sleeveless dress, or a deep plunge design, I want to make some contour lines. So I suggest adding the contour lines to your block. I already have a video that you can check out, and it will show you how to add contour lines. So I am going to quickly go ahead and add my contour lines. Now that I have my front bodice done, I'm going to go ahead and grab my front skirt block. And I'm just going to draw a line from the original waist to my empire waistline. I'll make my notations and then set it aside for now. I'm going to move on to my back bodice. First, I'm going to trace off my back bodice. I want to make sure that I trace the notches, the horizontal balance line, the darts, and the dart points. That's very important. Next, I'm going to draw in the horizontal balance line and my darts. Now I need to square off my waist in the same manner that I did on the front, because I need this as a reference point. Here is where I need to refer to the measurement that I took from the side seam on my front bodice, which was 3.5 inches, remember? So I'm going to make that 3.5 inches. And for my center back, I need to take off a 1/2 inch measurement, and that's going to be 3 inches, and I'll mark that point. Now I want to connect the points with a curved ruler. I'm using my hip curve ruler, which works perfect. Next, I'm going to separate my bodice back from the back midriff. Okay, so first I need to tape my midriff piece to more pattern paper. I want to make sure that the extra paper is long enough for my skirt. I'm going to square a nice straight line down the center front. Then measure down from the waist the length of my waist to hip measurement. So you're going to do yours. Mine is 9 inches. Then square over. Now I'm going to mark a point on my waistline that is 1/4 of my waist circumference. Plus I'm going to add 1/4 for ease. And I'm going to do the same thing on my hip line. Now I'm going to grab my hip curve ruler and connect those points. And then square a line straight down. Now join the point of the waist measurement to the top of the empire waist, just as we did on the front. Okay, so just as I did on the front bodice, I need to have contour lines, just in case I want to design a fitted or a tapered dress with a low back or something really nice and fitted and tapered. So first I need to square straight up from my dart point to my horizontal balance line. Now I'm going to redraw the dot lines like this. Now I need to actually continue that dart through my back midriff and to my skirt. So I'm going to measure down from my original waistline, which is 5.5 inches. So I'm going to measure down 5.5 inches. You can do this with 2 darts as well, but that's another video. In another video, I'll show you how to use 2 darts if you want to. So, but for now, I'm going to square up through the middle of my old dart. But now to true that and make sure that it's correct, I'm going to lay my back bodice piece in place and check my line, make sure it goes straight through to the middle. And it's great, love it. Okay, I know that I'm straight, so I'm going to create my 5.5 inch line. Next, I'm going to decrease my dart intake to 1.5 inches, which is going to be 3/4 of an inch on each side of the line. Now, your dart intake could be more or less depending on your waist size and the circumference of your waist. I'm going to mark those and then connect them. Then I'm going to continue my dart up to my empire waist. So this is the back, complete with darts. Okay, so now I want to add darts to my front as well. Because again, if you want a fitted or tapered dress, you are going to need darts. The first thing I'm going to do is measure down from my original waistline 3.5 inches. From this 3.5 inches, I am going to do the same concept that I did on the back skirt. I'm going to create a dart and I'm going to take it up to my empire waist or to my underbust. My dart intake is going to be 5/8 of an inch, which is 5/16 of an inch on either side of my line. This is the original line that we created at the center of our bust radius in the beginning. So I'm going to mark my points and draw my lines. Because I measured out 3/8 of an inch on either side of my dart legs here at my bust radius, I am going to do the same at my empire waist. Now I'm going to draw my line. The one last thing to do is to true my side seams. And in this case, I am going to decrease my armhole on my back bodice. I'm just going to go ahead and fold my seam and blend my armhole so that it matches. So both sides are exactly the same length. So this is all you need to do to create a beautiful empire waist block for dresses, and it's going to be gorgeous, I assure you. You can manipulate it in any way that you like to make a beautiful dress. Now the last thing I want to do is go ahead and put my paper onto cardstock, and then I am done. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the bell so you can be notified when a video comes out that's just for you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.